Hello, all my JavaScript friends. This is the Virtual Wood, aka Mike Smith, and this is our snake game. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the snake itself. Now, what is the snake? The snake is composed of two pieces of information: the head and the body. And of course, the body, as we learned in our last video, is made up of just a bunch of different segments, but that's immaterial here. The key here for the snake is that it contains the head and the body, and it is what interfaces with the game. When the game initializes, it's going to want to know, where is my snake? And so the snake needs to be created in such a way that we initialize the head correctly and we initialize the body correctly, so that when the game says, hey, I need you to move here, I need you to check collisions there, and so on and so forth, it knows exactly what to do. So let's take a look at the design of the snake. Very, very simple, but very important. There are four pieces of information that we have with the snake, and two of them are required. First one is position. This is a vector, and this position is what is the initial position of the snake. Now, for our particular purposes, the initial position of the snake refers to the initial position of the head. That's what gets passed to the head itself. Second of all is, what is the initial direction? So that once the snake gets moving, once the game gets going, we need to find out which way is it going to go. And that will be depending upon this particular direction. And again, that will be applied to the head of the snake, since that's what is the leading piece of the snake, the head. Speed is not required. It defaults to 1. Length is also not required, or defaults to 0. And length applies to the number of segments that are going to be in the body, and the default is 0. All of our properties are read-only, like I do with all my different properties, so no use in going in here. Body is the only additional one that you see from above there, and body is going to be all the different segments of the body. And I'll show you something that's a little bit different. Well, actually, it's not different. It's the same thing I do with all of them here, but something is special with the body. I don't know why I added private head and body in here. I don't really need to, but I did anyway. So the snake's purpose is to control the head and the body. That's it. So what do we need the snake to do? Well, we need the snake to be able to move, of course. We need the snake, and that move will be applied to both the head and the body. We need the snake to be able to grow, and that will be applied strict to the body itself. So, if we eat that prize, the body is going to grow in length. That's the whole purpose of the snake game. And so we need to be able to tell the body, hey, you need to grow. I need to get the body segment for certain situations. The change direction is extraordinarily important. The change direction basically says the user wants to change direction and go whatever way they want to go. Here's that new direction. That gets applied straight to the head, so that the next time it gets moved, which we'll see here in just a minute, then that will also then eventually get applied to the different segments of the body. Get projected position is extraordinarily important for us. It allows us to be able to say, this is the projected position of both the head and the snake. Tell me if I've got, you could then use that to figure out if there's some sort of collision. Set the speed is no big deal. We just set the speed, and then set the determine if a collision has occurred with itself. And what this does is, what happens if, we have a very long snake and the snake is moving, and then it goes up, then it goes left, and then it goes down, and it hits itself. It hits the body. Well, that's what this tests for right here. It does a collection. It does a detection of of whether the head has hit the body or not. Very simple. So let's take a look at some code. There's not a whole lot here, but there is one thing I do want to point out. We save everything here. Here's where we create the head, and we're saving it to a private variable. We don't need to expose that to the public. Here's where we're creating the body, and since we're not giving any kind of arguments here, the body will have a length of 0. If we do give it a length, though, then we use all of this to be able to eventually grow the body. And here's where we do this grow body. And all of this information right here allows us to be able to determine how long this particular snake is going to be based upon the speed and the length. Now, I will admit to you that as I'm finally starting to put together the game, this is a little bit over-engineered, to use the term. I don't really need to do this. I don't need to include speed in all this. I just need to include the length. So this will get refactored. I can guarantee you this part's going to get refactored before, probably by the time you see the videos on putting everything together and getting, the first HTML game going. You'll see all this redone if you're taking a look at the code as we go along here. And there's one thing I want you to take a look at here is that this little line right here, if our snake, let's imagine, we got to figure out how to draw the snake. So if our snake is moving off to the right, we're going to want the rest of our snake to be off to the left. And this is initially before we start the game here. So what I do is I take the opposite of the current direction and I figure out where that last segment is going to be here based upon the speed and based upon the length. Now, to be very honest with you, like I said before, I'm going to probably refactor all this to take the speed part out, but right now that's what it is. Once I figure out that last offset position, I figure out then what I consider what my movement is. And that allows me then to say, let's just go through the length here. Let's grow the body based upon that particular position and direction. And then let's add the current direction. Let's add the current movement to the current position to give me where the next particular position is going to be for the growth. So this allows me to go plop, 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 and just automatically add the length of the snake. Yeah, it's all convoluted, and yes, it will get refactored. No big deal. All right, here's all of my different getter routines. No big deal here. Notice here, I'm getting the body segments. When I return the body, I don't actually get the body, I'm getting the body segments. And if you remember from our video before, the body segments are just clones of the different segments themselves. So I'm not really getting the body, but that's okay. I don't really need that. I just really need the information for the segments. Grow is very simple. We just issued the grow command on the body. Get segment at, we issued the get segment at on the body. Here's the important thing. Ooh, I didn't take that out. Sorry about that. Here's the important thing is that when I move, I'm going to move the head and I'm going to move the body, which we've already covered, and I'm going to shift directions on the body. And this is incredibly important because if suddenly, we've pressed the up arrow key and the head has changed directions, we need to be able to tell the body that the directions have been changed too. And that's what the shift direction is all about. And we covered that within our body video. Change directions changes the direction on the head. Because remember, I'm saying the head is the controller for the snake itself. It's where the brain is. So if we change direction, the head's going to change directions. The rest of the body's not going to change directions until movements have occurred and we shift the directions of the segments. Set the speed is no big deal. Get projected position, gets the projected position of the head. That's the important thing. And then the collision itself allows me to be able to determine whether something like the head has collided with the body itself. This is just a pass through to the body. I took that out because I really don't need that. The game takes care of that for me automatically. And that is really it for the snake. The whole key for the snake here is the creation of the head, the creation of the body, and the controlling of the head and the body, especially in the move section. That's going to be the most important thing. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel to view more videos. Click on the like button on this video and visit us at virtuoid.com. Also, support us on Patreon, where you can get access to member-only videos. Links are down below. Again, thank you very much for watching, and keep on coding.